Let me guess, you felt it again last night. That gap between who you are and who you know you're supposed to be. You've done the vision boards, you've read the books, you've watched videos exactly like this one, felt inspired for 48 hours, and then nothing changed. I'm not here to sell you another method that dies by next week. I'm here because I figured out why none of it worked, and what actually does. Here's what nobody's telling you. Quantum leaping isn't about thinking harder or wanting it more. It's about understanding how your brain filters reality, and then hacking that filter so aggressively that your dream life stops being something you chase and becomes something that just arrives. I'm going to walk you through the exact neuroscience behind why you're stuck. And then I'm giving you a system that combines quantum mechanics, nervous system biology, and behavioral psychology. No fluff, no mystical nonsense, just what actually works. By the end of this video, you'll have a roadmap that you can start using today. So let's go. 4 years ago, I was standing in my kitchen at 2 a.m., staring at my credit card statement. Negative $847. I'd just had another investment in myself conversation with my partner, trying to justify why I'd spent money we didn't have on another program that promised to change everything. This was the third one that year. I had notebooks full of goals. I had a vision board I'd spent 6 hours making. I had morning routines, evening routines, productivity apps, accountability partners. I was doing everything the internet told me to do. And I was more stuck than ever. Worse than stuck, actually. Because now I was failing and convinced something was fundamentally wrong with me. Then I came across research that changed everything. A neuroscience study from late 2024 out of Stanford tracked 400 people trying to make significant life changes. Here's what they found. 87% of people who failed weren't failing because they lacked discipline or desire. They failed because their subconscious brain was literally filtering out the opportunities that could change their life. Listen to this. Your brain processes 11 million bits of information every second. Your conscious mind can handle about 50. That means your subconscious is deciding what you see, what you notice, what you act on. And if your subconscious doesn't believe your dream life is safe, it will never let you see the path to get there. This isn't about mindset, it's about biology. And once I understood that, everything clicked. Let's clear something up right now. When people talk about quantum leaping, most of them don't know what they're talking about. They throw around words like energy and frequency without understanding the actual physics. Here's what quantum mechanics actually tells us. At the subatomic level, particles exist in multiple states simultaneously until they're observed. The act of observation collapses the wave function and determines which reality manifests. Now, I'm not saying you can just imagine money and it appears. That's not how this works. But here's what is true, backed by research from MIT, published in January 2025. Your brain's reticular activating system, the part that filters what you pay attention to, is programmable. When you consistently focus on a specific outcome, your RAS starts filtering reality to show you paths, people, and opportunities aligned with that outcome. This is why when you buy a red car, you suddenly see red cars everywhere. They were always there. Your brain just wasn't programmed to notice them. The difference between someone who quantum leaps into their dream life and someone who stays stuck isn't luck. It's not genetics. It's whether their brain is programmed to recognize the opportunities when they show up. Most people are running outdated programming from childhood, scarcity beliefs, unworthiness patterns, safety mechanisms that made sense when they were 7, but are destroying their life at 27 or 37. And those programs are invisible to you. That's the problem. Here's where everyone gets it wrong. They set goals, they make vision boards, they write down what they want, and their brain immediately rejects it. Why? Because of something called identity-reality dissonance. Research from Harvard's psychology department in 2024 shows that your brain has an identity construct, a story about who you are. And when you set a goal that contradicts that identity, your subconscious treats it like a threat. If you see yourself as someone who's always broke, your brain will sabotage every opportunity to make money. Not because you're weak, because your brain thinks it's protecting you from the discomfort of becoming someone you don't recognize. I lived this. I wanted to build a business that made real money, but every time I got close to a breakthrough, I'd self-sabotage. I'd ghost potential clients. I'd forget to send invoices. I'd unconsciously push opportunities away. It took me 8 months to realize I didn't see myself as someone who succeeded at business. I saw myself as someone who tried hard but never quite made it. And my brain was committed to proving that identity right. According to James Clear's research on atomic habits, your identity is formed through repeated behavior. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you believe you are. If you say, I want to be healthy, but you consistently choose fast food, your brain believes the actions, not the words. So here's the first real step. You have to reverse engineer your current identity and then deliberately construct a new one. Not through affirmations, through strategic behavior that gives your brain evidence of who you're becoming. Grab your phone right now, open your notes. I want you to write 3 identity statements that represent who you currently believe you are. Be honest, brutally honest. I am someone who starts things but never finishes. I am not the type of person who makes a lot of money. I am not disciplined enough to stick to big goals. Write them down. Now, next to each one, write when you first believed this. What happened? What evidence did you use to form this belief? When I did this, I wrote, I'm not built for success. Then I traced it back. I remembered being 16, failing my driver's test 3 times while all my friends passed on their first try. My dad made a joke about me being a late bloomer who never quite gets there. That joke became my identity for 14 years. One comment, from one afternoon, running my entire reality. That realization broke something open. Because once you see that your identity is just a story built on old data, you can start writing a new one. Here's the part that most manifestation coaches skip entirely. Your nervous system controls access to your dream life. Let me explain. Your autonomic nervous system has 2 modes: sympathetic, which is fight or flight, and parasympathetic, which is rest and digest. Research from the Polyvagal Institute published in late 2024 shows that when your nervous system is in a chronic state of activation, stress, anxiety, hypervigilance, your brain literally cannot process new information or take creative risks. You could have the perfect opportunity sitting in front of you, and if your nervous system is dysregulated, you won't see it. Or you'll see it and freeze. Or you'll sabotage it because it feels unsafe. This is why people can know what they need to do but not do it. It's not laziness. It's nervous system biology. Your subconscious brain's number 1 job is to keep you safe. And to your subconscious, safe means familiar. Even if familiar is painful. Even if familiar is broke, lonely or stuck. Because at least it's predictable. So when you try to quantum leap into a version of your life that's radically different, your nervous system perceives it as danger. And it shuts you down. I learned this when I got invited to speak at an event that would have put me in front of exactly the people I needed to meet. The week before, I got a migraine so severe I couldn't get out of bed. Not a coincidence. My nervous system literally shut me down to avoid the discomfort of being seen at that level. The research is clear on this. If you want to change your life, you have to change your nervous system's definition of safety. You have to train your body to feel calm in the presence of opportunity, growth, and success. Here's how you do it. Starting today, you're going to spend 10 minutes every morning doing bilateral stimulation. This could be walking, tapping your knees alternately, or even eye movements side to side. Why? Because bilateral stimulation integrates the left and right hemispheres of your brain and regulates your nervous system. It's the same technique used in EMDR therapy. Studies show that people who practice daily nervous system regulation see a 64% increase in their ability to take action on opportunities compared to those who don't. This isn't optional. This is the gate. If your nervous system isn't regulated, and nothing else works, all right, now we get into the actual mechanics. How do you reprogram your subconscious to support your quantum leap instead of blocking it? First, understand this. Your subconscious doesn't speak in logic. It speaks in images, emotions, and repetition. You can't convince it with arguments. You have to show it evidence. There's a 60-second window every morning when you first wake up, and every night before you fall asleep when your conscious mind is drowsy and your subconscious is wide open. This is your access point. Here's the protocol, developed based on research from the Sleep and Neuroplasticity Lab at Berkeley. Every night before bed, you're going to do what I call the future memory installation. Close your eyes. Imagine a specific scene from your dream life in vivid detail, not the overview, the specific moment. You're sitting at your desk, checking your bank account, seeing the number you want to see. You're walking into the home you want to live in. You're having a conversation with the person you want to be with. Make it detailed. What are you wearing? What does the room smell like? What's the temperature? Who else is there? The more sensory detail, the more your subconscious believes it's real. Here's the key. You're not imagining this as a future event. You're remembering it as if it already happened. Research shows that the brain can't distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real memory. When you replay this scene every night, your subconscious starts treating it as evidence that this version of your life is real and safe. Then, the moment you wake up, before you check your phone, before you do anything, you replay that same scene. First thought of the day, last thought before sleep, 60 seconds each time. Within 2 weeks, your RAS will start filtering reality differently. You'll notice opportunities you would have missed. You'll feel pulled toward actions that align with that future. Your subconscious will start working for you instead of against you. But here's the part people mess up. You have to choose a version of your future that your nervous system can believe. If you're currently making $3,000 a month and you try to visualize making $100,000 a month, your body will reject it. It's too far outside your window of tolerance. Instead, start with a 30% stretch. If you're at $3,000, visualize $4,000. Once your nervous system adjusts, and that becomes your new normal, stretch again. This is called progressive desensitization, and it's how you expand your capacity without triggering a shutdown. Visualization alone won't get you there. You need the behavior bridge. Here's what the research shows. Your identity is reinforced by your actions. If you say, I'm a successful entrepreneur, but you spend your days scrolling social media and avoiding work, your brain believes the actions, not the words. So you need to install what I call identity anchors, tiny, consistent behaviors that prove to your subconscious that you are already the person living your dream life. This is where most people overcomplicate it. They try to overhaul their entire life overnight. Wake up at 5 a.m., meditate for an hour, work out, journal, meal prep, and they last 3 days before burning out. Here's what actually works. Are based on a 2025 study on habit formation from University College London. Pick one behavior. 1. Make it so small it feels ridiculous. And do it every single day for 30 days. If your dream life includes being a successful writer, your identity anchor is writing 1 sentence per day. That's it. Not a whole article. Not a book. 1 sentence. If your dream life includes being financially free, your identity anchor is checking your bank account and tracking 1 expense per day. Not overhauling your budget, just 1 tracked expense. Why? Because your subconscious is tracking votes. Every time you write that 1 sentence, you're casting a vote for I am a writer. Every time you track that expense, you're voting for I am someone who manages money well. Research shows it takes an average of 59 days of consistent behavior before your brain updates your identity. But here's the thing. You'll start seeing external shifts way before that. Because once your identity starts shifting, your RAS starts showing you different opportunities. I started with I am someone who helps people. My identity anchor was sending one message per day to someone offering value. Didn't matter what it was. A resource, an introduction, a genuine compliment. Just one message. Within 4 weeks, someone I'd helped 2 years prior reached out with a consulting opportunity that paid me more in 1 month than I'd made in the previous 6. That opportunity was always possible. My brain just wasn't programmed to see it until I started voting for my new identity. Your environment is either supporting your quantum leap or destroying it. There's no neutral. A research team from Princeton published findings in early 2025 showing that environmental cues account for 43% of habitual behavior. That means nearly half of what you do every day is triggered by your surroundings, not your willpower. If you want to quantum leap, you have to design your environment to make your new identity the path of least resistance. Here's what I did. Remove friction from the behavior that supports your dream life. If you want to read more, put a book on your pillow every morning. If you want to work out, sleep in your gym clothes. If you want to eat healthy, prep your meals on Sunday and put them front and center in the fridge. Add friction to behaviors that keep you stuck. Delete social media apps from your phone. You can still use them on your computer, but the friction of having to log in through a browser is enough to disrupt the autopilot loop. Put your phone in a different room when you're working. Use website blockers during focus time. When I removed TikTok from my phone, I realized I was picking it up 50+ times per day out of pure habit. That's 50 disruptions to my focus, my creativity, my ability to think clearly. Within 1 week of adding that friction, the quality of my work tripled. Not because I worked harder, because I stopped interrupting myself. Studies show that the average person makes 35,000 decisions per day. Each decision drains your willpower. But when your environment is designed correctly, the right decisions happen automatically. You are terrible at judging your own progress. We all are. SOD research on the plateau of latent potential shows that most transformation happens invisibly. You're doing the work. Nothing seems to be changing, and then suddenly everything shifts at once. Think about ice melting. You heat it from 25 degrees to 31 degrees, and nothing happens. It looks exactly the same. Then you hit 32 degrees, and it melts. All the heating from 25 to 31 was necessary, but it looked like nothing was working. Your quantum leap works the same way. You're doing the identity anchors, the nervous system regulation, the subconscious reprogramming. And for weeks, it might feel like nothing's changing. That's when most people quit. Right before the breakthrough, so you need a tracking system that shows you the invisible progress. Create a simple tracker, a spreadsheet, a habit app, or just a physical calendar. Every day, you're marking whether you did your identity anchor, yes or no. That's it. Research shows that people who use binary tracking, just a check mark, no scoring or rating, have 42% higher adherence than those who use complex systems. Why? Because it removes the judgment. You either did it or you didn't. And here's the psychological trick. Studies show people will expend 40% more effort to maintain an unbroken streak. Once you have 4 or 5 days in a row, your brain becomes invested in protecting that streak. By day 15, something shifts. You stop thinking about whether you're going to do it. Your hand reaches for the journal automatically. You feel weird when you skip it. That's neuroplasticity. Your brain is rewiring in real time. Let me be straight with you. This video is about quantum leaping in 2026. But real transformation doesn't happen in 30 days. Research shows it takes an average of 66 days to automate a new habit. Some take up to 254 days. But here's what does happen in 30 days. You prove to yourself that change is possible. You rewire enough neural pathways that the new behaviors start feeling natural. You accumulate enough evidence of your new identity that your brain begins to believe it. 30 days is your proof of concept. Once you complete it, you don't go back to zero. You've already done the hardest part, breaking through the old identity and creating new pathways. The next 30 days will be easier, and the next 30 after that, even easier. Unlike every other Quantum Leap video, I'm not promising instant results. I'm giving you the actual science of how this works and a framework to apply it. But science means nothing without action. If you've made it this far, you're already different from 95% of people who clicked this video. Most consume content but never implement. So here's my challenge. Pick one identity, one behavior, one small action you're going to do today. Not tomorrow. Today. Open your notes right now. Write, I am someone who. Fill in the blank. Then do the smallest possible version of that behavior before you go to bed tonight. Comment your identity statement below. Not for me. For you. Because when you declare it publicly, your brain takes it more seriously. And 30 days from now, when you come back here and see what you've become, you'll want to remember who you were when you clicked play. If this resonated, I hit subscribe because next week I'm breaking down the exact neuroscience of breaking bad habits, the reverse engineering of everything we covered today. You'll learn why you keep going back to the same patterns and how to break the cycle for good. Your brain is waiting to be rewired. Your identity is waiting to be reimagined. Your life is waiting to transform. Are you ready? Let's go.